Hey there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman.
Well, we're not blaming it on the rain, nor are we blaming it on the alcohol. But who are we blaming it on? We're blaming it all on Melody Shari. Carlos King, Dr. Heavenly, and Funky Dineva, cut the crap. Welcome back, civilians. First of all, I want to thank everyone. I want to thank all the new and returning subscribers. Your presence is greatly appreciated. I'm so grateful for your following. Now let's get into it. All right. So I know by now y'all have heard that according to Funky Dineva, Dr. Heavenly has stopped doing Messy Mondays with Carlos King because of Melody Shari and the Millimeters, Mel's fan base. Say what now? Now, a few weeks ago, around the time, I would say probably shortly after Marquez, what's her name? Latricia's husband, you know, the one who also has a boyfriend. I think his name is Ken. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't pay attention to their storyline at all. So, yeah. But anyway, Marquez was on Messy Mondays, and y'all remember he whooped and shouted out Melody, which if you saw if looks could kill, he'd have been took out based on how Carlos looked at him. But anyway, shortly after his appearance on that Messy Mondays, Dr. Heavenly came out and she stated that she was rebranding. She was no longer going to be doing reality TV reviews. She didn't want to be a part of tearing people's family, breaking up marriages. That was what she said. The gist is it was just too messy for her, and she didn't want to go down the road that they were going down. To me, the long and short of it is that Dr. Heavenly, I don't think that she wants to get into the dirt with Carlos concerning, her own cast, which is the Married to Medicine people, because that's how it first started. He was getting her to say stuff about her castmates and what was going on her show, and because y'all know Carlos is obsessed with anything Bravo. He pays more attention to what goes on over there than his own productions, quite frankly. But anyway, so she had gotten into trouble. She talked about Daddy, talking to her about watching what she says, and she had gotten in trouble over there. So they stopped, and then the focus became on his shows, namely Love and Marriage Huntsville, and he used her as his mouthpiece to say all the things that he really wanted to say about Melody, that he wouldn't be man enough to say and put her name on it, but he had no problem with having Heavenly do that, which is just crazy to me and to any reasonable person for you to be attacking by way of other people your own the star of your money, the only money making show and long lasting show that you have. So I'll never understand that. But now they've according to this, they've canceled Messy Mondays, which Messy Mondays is not canceled. It's just that Dr. Heavenly is no longer going to be on there, and somehow that's Mel's fault. Child, please get out of my face. Why is Funky Dineva doing this? Like, why? Well, according to some tea that Queen Sheba dropped on her live Wednesday night, apparently Dr. Heavenly and Funky Dineva travel in the same they're in the same inner circle. So it's likely that he's trying to help his friend out by using Melody Shari and her fan base as scapegoats. Like, it looks like she's trying to find an easy way or a non-confrontational way to sever ties with Carlos quietly. Seeing as though Messy Monday was not really his idea to begin with, there was no way that it was gonna last, right? What's for you is for you. If it's not for you, it's just not gonna work, no matter how hard you try. So we all know Carlos has a history of taking other people's ideas and claiming them as his own, only for them to flop. because again, God didn't bless him with them, so they're not going to succeed because he took somebody else's idea and tried to pass it off as his own. He did the same thing with Sheree, who was supposed to be a friend of his, and it was at a real estate show that he ended up doing in Miami. I think it was selling something, child, something to do with house. And then the real estate show in Houston with the real estate family, I believe was his old assistant or whatever she was, assistant producer, whatever she was to him, Angela's idea that she, to my recollection, and I stand to be corrected, she was never given credit for. And that's the other show that is his new show that is on which, if I'm not mistaken, is not doing very well at all. And of course, he claims Love and Marriage Huntsville to be his, but we all know that that's Melody's brainchild. Of course, that is his most successful show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. And the difference between Love and Marriage Huntsville and any other show that Carlos has been involved with is none other than Melody Shari. See, you can have a great idea, you can have things that you want to do, but especially when it comes to entertainment, you need a star. You need somebody that's going to stand out. You need somebody that's gonna that's gonna blow up. And Melody, independent of Carlos, this is not of his making. This is just her makeup. Has a unique star quality to me that's unlike any other reality star. She has a relatability. She's not stuck up or arrogant or conceited in any way, shape, or form. She's very humble, very down to earth, very sweet, very personable, and seems to be a very real and genuine person. And with all the success, I mean, we all know based on her history, she's not new to success, but in the television space, yes. Even with all of her success, some of these other reality stars that's ended up kind of fizzling out is because they let their ego get in the way, and that's not something that she has ever done. And so all of those things give her a unique star quality that there's no way Carlos will be able to manufacture, nor can he just go out there and duplicate it. Try as he might, as hard as he may try, it's just not duplicated. Most of us work or have worked. Some of us may be retired, on that's listening, and we from our jobs, and none of us would bite the hands that feeds us, and none of us would go and cuss our bosses out or try to use other people to disparage our bosses. That's where our paychecks come from. We would never bite the hand that feeds us. Melody is the money maker. So why would Carlos continue to attack this woman from every angle? It's the LAMH cast, it's her ex-husband or his so-called friends. I don't understand why he would continue to do that outside of just being jealous and envious and not liking the fact that she's able to do things really without him, and he's not able to use her the way that he's been able to use other women. Carlos is one of those men who has been heavily backed and supported by women by way of Candy, who really advocated for him, because up to the point where he produced, I think, what's her name, Kim Zolciak's wedding to Troy and some other things, and I think Old Lady Gang he may have done some stuff with. Candy really advocated for him, and then when he finally got to where he thought he was on, he gave her his behind the kiss. So he does not appear to me, in my opinion, to be a genuine person. I do not find Carlos to be genuine, and quite frankly, his voice sounds like nail going across a chalkboard, in my opinion. And I think it's just because I don't really care for his ways. That's why I kind of have a visceral reaction to hearing his voice. So I don't make a habit of doing it often, just because it's just such a put on to me and very phony, and I do not find him to be a very genuine person. So now, like I said, I do not understand why these people would do Carlos bidding against Melody. Like, what do you gain from it? Now, none of them are innocent, but there's no doubt that there's been damages to their reputation every time they have attacked Melody. We'll take Funky Dineva for example. Y'all remember when he came at Melody? I cannot remember what was the circumstances, but he cussed her smooth out. It was so uncalled for, and I think that was before he headed to do Fox Soul, because he got a lot of backlash for that, and he couldn't take the heat. So I think that caused him, in my opinion, to run off of YouTube for a while. So we all know that he don't like her. Now, in my opinion, he does not have a valid reason for not liking her. I think some of why there may be some money that have exchanged not to like her, and with a lot of people, they want to be able to have this access to Melody that is it's like they want to be so much in her space, and they want to be able to have this access to her, that when she puts them in the professional lane, because she don't know you like that, they get offended and they're in their feelings, and all of a sudden now she's this bad person, and they have all of these things to say. So I'm sure no one had to twist his arm to come out and disparage her, or cast her in a negative light. Unfortunately, though, Mel is not the only one. Y'all remember that he said some very, very nasty things about Chloe Bailey. Again, I don't remember what it was, but it was on Fox Soul. Now, remember, this young lady is like early 20s at that time, and he's got to be in his 40s, if not mid 40s, or older. So for him to go after this young lady like that with such vitriol, to me, was very unacceptable, and highlighted a deeper issue for me, that he probably, if he's not seeing somebody, in my opinion, he needs to see somebody to resolve, because it was just a very, very, just like he did with Melody, it was a very, very unnecessary tearing down and coming at her, when it was venomous. It was like, it was personal, and it was just really out of balance for the context, or even there's really no realm of life I think is possible for any man to speak about a woman in that fashion, and it be okay. So, Funky and Carlos are part of the same community, so that community absolutely sticks together. No matter what, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody in that community who will, regardless of, will not back the community when they're wrong just because they're in the community. But I personally am very much sick and tired of men growing their platforms in women's spaces. Let's be clear, this particular sector of YouTube is female dominated, as is the audience of Love and Marriage Huntsville is female dominated. And then these men garner large female audiences, all of their large part of their revenue coming from those female audience members, making money off of us, but calling us names like fish. I don't follow any content creator that does that. I don't follow them. But I'm not gonna put all the blame on them. I'm gonna get real for a moment. I'm gonna talk to us women on a collective level now. I know if I'm not the only person who does not follow Funky. I'm sure there are many others who are a part of this community that's gonna hear this video and say, yeah, I don't listen to him, but I'm gonna talk to us on a collective level, really, because we always say that we are there for each other. We say that we're for women, but then we allow certain men to disrespect us without consequences, and the consequences needs to be that finances be drastically impacted by the fact that you're being disrespectful to women, or not backing them, whether they're your friend or not saying, oh, I know this person and I know their heart. Well, the rest of us don't know them and we don't know their heart. We just know what vitriol is coming out of their mouth concerning a particular or a given woman, and it's not appreciated and it should not be tolerated, in my opinion. So, as I was actually working on this, I saw a video come across from Empress Radio, and apparently, Funky had posted on his page that he had proof that states that the people that were calling Dr. Heavenly's office, because that's one of the things he said, was that not only was the millimeters the reason why she was not doing Messy Mondays anymore, it was because it being part of the reason of it being the millimeters is because people were calling her office. Now, how, and he claims to have proof, and he read, I don't know if it was an Instagram message or a DM or what it was, or just a comment under his post. But what I want to know is, how are you able to substantiate that those messages are from actual millimeters, right? How is that possible? How is Dr. Heavenly able to prove that the calls she made, or we can't even verify that she actually got calls, much like calls from so-called millimeters? How are you able to substantiate these claims that you are making? See, in my opinion, they can't. I think they're just throwing whatever at the wall to see what sticks, because really, Dr. Heavenly don't want to work with Carlos anymore, because as we know, he is messy, and as we know that he's a taker and not a giver. So he will use you till he uses you up, and when you're done, you leave worse off than when you encounter him. Melody, again, has been the only person that's been able to actually rise after encountering him, who is in terms of this reality TV space, and who has never really needed him for anything. So, but Dr. Heavenly really took a hit doing this thing with Carlos. I know she's messy all on her own. She don't get a pass for that. I've watched Married to Medicine. Her mouth is very slick, and kind of reminds me of somebody in like someone in who would have probably really got handled in high school, because her mouth is so reckless that she has one of those mouths, in my opinion, that will inspire somebody to want to give her a beat down if they were not in their right mind and didn't have control of themselves. So lastly, I'm trying to figure out how apparently Melody is all powerful. She has this immense power. She's got to be the most powerful human being walking the face of the earth. Now, Melody, there's only 4 people that are alive that Melody has the ability to control, and that is her 4 children. However, let these people tell it, she's supposed to be able to control grown folks, and now that's her fan base. She's supposed to be able to, every time any of us express our opinions, she's supposed to be able to put us in check. Now, them people on that show, they can't check their mamas, they can't check their husbands, they can't check themselves. But Melody, and those the people that they know, but Melody is supposed to be able to control grown folks who are only expressing their grown opinion. She, again, second evidence of her all powerfulness. She's the reason that people's businesses are not succeeding on the show. Now she's the reason that Messy Mondays is not working, or Heavenly is not doing Messy Mondays anymore. If Mel is that powerful, I need her to use her power for more worthwhile causes like world peace and curing world hunger, or better yet, arrange for the judge to give her full custody of the kids, or get her narc ex-husband to act right. Whatever they have up their sleeves concerning Melody, though, rest assured it will not prosper. Until next time.
Please like, comment, share, And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.